Australians have an interesting relationship with their history because when I say John Monash, immediately most people have no idea who I'm talking about. They think about Monash University or they think about Monash like the area in Victoria, but a lot of people don't recognise who he is, why he's famous and what we know him for in Australia. This is him here. He's on the $100 note. I'm about to start a series where I talk about all the people on all the money in Australia, so don't worry. I didn't pick between him and Nellie Melba. I will have a video on Nellie Melba tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, this is about John Monash. I've written a script. I want you to listen to my script. If you have YouTube Premium, go and fold your washing or something. Do something productive while you listen to me. But I've got a script about John Monash. He's a fascinating bloke, he's really interesting, and he's the man on the 100, as the title or the thumbnail says. So I want to explain to you why he's on the 100, because I don't think many Australians really know or care because they don't know, you know? Anyway, we're getting into the script. He's super interesting. You will be super interested. Hit the like button and the share button. You know how all of this YouTube stuff works. These people give me money. I like money. You could give me money too if you appreciate this video, but don't feel like you have to. There's ads on it and stuff as well, all right? This is John Monash. Sir John Monash is celebrated as one of Australia's greatest military commanders and civil engineers. His life and achievements have left a significant mark on Australian history, culminating in his honour of being featured on the $100 note. This video explores the significant milestones in Monash's life, his contributions during World War I, and the process that led to his commemoration on Australia's currency. Through specific stories and examples, you will end up understanding why Monash is regarded as a national hero by the end of this video. John Monash was born on the 27th of June 1865 in West Melbourne, Victoria, to parents Louis and Bertha. His parents were German Jewish immigrants, which influenced Monash's cultural background and work ethic in what is now known as Australia. And they were free settlers, not convicts. It's always worth pointing that out or making that distinction around this time period in Australia, because the sending of convicts to the penal colonies only ended a few years after our guy Monash was born, and there was always a concerted effort by the free settlers or descendants of them to create a two-tier society where they were starting the colony, positioning themselves similar to British aristocracy back in Europe. But I digress. From a young age, Monash demonstrated exceptional intelligence and a thirst for knowledge. He excelled academically, attending Scotch College and later the University of Melbourne, where he earned degrees in arts, engineering and law. Monash's early career was marked by his work as a civil engineer. He was involved in several significant projects, including the construction of bridges, railways and other infrastructure across Victoria. He worked on Prince's Bridge, which goes over the Yarra in Melbourne. He worked on the Outer Circle Railway, and he was responsible for the Bendigo Post Office and the Town Hall in Malvern as well, all of which are still standing in some capacity some 130 odd years later. In short, his engineering skills and innovative thinking at those stages of the colony were remarkable, and they set the stage for his future military career in the nation. When World War I broke out in 1914, Monash joined the Australian Imperial Force. His engineering background and leadership qualities quickly earned him a commission as a lieutenant colonel. Monash's rise through the military ranks was swift, reflecting his strategic brilliance and ability to inspire his troops. One of the most significant chapters in Monash's military career was his leadership during the Gallipoli campaign. Although the campaign ultimately ended in a withdrawal, Monash's ability to maintain morale and manage logistical challenges earned him recognition. Every Australian over the age of 15 or maybe 10 knows about Gallipoli. If you're not Australian and you haven't even heard of the term Gallipoli before, it was a theatre of war in the First World War. I'll give you a brief rundown. It was Australia's first real foray into global politics in World War I against the Turks in a place called Gallipoli. There's a phenomenal movie from the 1990s starring a young Mel Gibson just called Gallipoli, if you want a debrief, but in short, Australia got their asses handed to them. It brought us together as a nation, and it's spoken about now quite parochially, as if it was some point of pride for the nation at the time as well, but it definitely wasn't. It was a fucking tragedy. The cold hard facts are that we rocked up to the wrong beach based on shitty directions from the British, got annihilated by a well-entrenched military fortification instead of being able to sneak up on it, and then continued that line of thinking and continued getting annihilated for about another 7.5 months on that beach. We barely made it onto the beach, let alone off it again. After those 7.5 long months,
We turned tail and we ran away from the fight. The successful retreat, though, was probably my favourite story from the entire war, and it's probably why we have such a favourable view on that campaign as a country, but I'll get to that. Over the 7-month campaign, over 8,500 Australian soldiers were killed, which may not sound like a lot if you're military-minded, but I'll let you know right now it represented just shy of 1% of the total population of our country at the time. 8,000 Australians dying back then would be analogous to roughly 3.4 million Americans dying in today's day and age in the one war effort. And now you understand why it's such a significant part of our history, but you're probably wondering how this all links to John Monash, the subject of the video. Although he was not the overall commander of the operation, his leadership and organisational skills in Gallipoli were crucial in ensuring the smooth execution of the withdrawal. The Gallipoli campaign had turned into a costly and stalemated operation for the Allied forces. The decision to evacuate was fraught with risk, as it had to be conducted without alerting the Ottoman forces to avoid further heavy casualties. Monash, then a brigadier general, was involved in the detailed planning and execution of the evacuation. Monash's meticulous attention to detail and innovative thinking contributed to the success of the operation. The most well-known and well-quoted fact about the retreat is that of a set of rifles which were rigged to be self-firing, to fool the Turks into thinking men were still there and nothing had changed. Our guy Monash, the focus of the video, was responsible for the creation of those so-called self-firing rifles, which continued to fire at sporadic intervals even after the troops had left, deceiving the opposition forces into believing that the trenches were still occupied. This clever ruse helped ensure that the evacuation was completed with minimal losses, no deaths on the final night of escape, and as a result, Gallipoli is often regarded as one of the most successful operations of its kind in military history. Monash's involvement in the retreat was a key factor in its smooth and efficient execution. However, it was on the Western Front where Monash's true genius shone. The Battle of Hamel, fought on July 4th, 1918, is often cited as a textbook example of Monash's innovative military strategies. Monash meticulously planned the operation, integrating infantry, artillery, tanks, and aircraft in a coordinated assault. His approach was revolutionary, emphasizing the importance of a combined arms tactic and careful preparation. The battle only lasted 93 minutes, achieving all of his objectives with minimal casualties. Monash's use of new technologies and his emphasis on precise coordination demonstrated his forward-thinking approach to warfare. The success at Hamel boosted the morale of Allied forces and set the stage for further victories. I find it incredibly interesting that the vast majority of Australian people couldn't tell you about this battle. They wouldn't even know where or what Hamel was. We have completely countrywide amnesia about an event where we absolutely dominated brouhaha style, but we remember the one where we got our shit rocked quite fondly. Make sense of that from an outside perspective, please. Following the success at Hamel, Monash was promoted to Lieutenant General and given command of the Australian Corps. His leadership during the next skirmish, the Battle of Amiens, or Amiens, depending on if you're French or I don't know how to pronounce it, Amiens, solidified his reputation as a master strategist across the globe. The Battle of Amiens, which began on August 8, 1918, was a significant Allied offensive during World War I. It marked the start of the 100 Days Offensive, which eventually led to the end of the war. The battle was fought near the city of Amiens. I'll put it in text on screen. The battle was fought near that city in France and involved British, Canadian, Australian and French forces all working together, mostly under Monash's command. The battle began with a massive artillery bombardment, followed by coordinated attacks by infantry and tanks. The use of tanks was particularly effective in breaking through German defences. The surprise and the scale of the attack overwhelmed the German forces, leading to a rapid advance by the Allies. The Battle of that place in France was a decisive victory for the Allies, resulting in significant German casualties and the capture of thousands of prisoners. It demonstrated the effectiveness of combined arms tactics and marked a turning point in the war, leading to a series of Allied successes that ultimately forced Germany to seek an armistice. Monash's meticulous planning and innovative tactics played a crucial role in the success in that place in France. The operation broke through German lines and forced a significant retreat, contributing to the eventual end of the war. It might be hyperbole to suggest, but it also might not, that without John Monash's efforts, World War I doesn't end when it does. That's enough about the military though, because after the war, Monash returned to Australia as a national hero. He continued to make significant contributions to public life, particularly in the fields of engineering and infrastructure. He became the head of the State Electricity Commission of Victoria, where he oversaw the development of the Latrobe Valley's coal resources and the expansion of Victoria's electricity grid. Monash's vision and leadership transformed Victoria's energy sector, ensuring reliable and affordable electricity for the state's growing population. His work in this area further cemented his legacy as a pioneer in both military and civilian spaces. Monash's contributions were widely recognised during his lifetime. He was knighted in 1918, becoming Sir John Monash. His legacy is preserved through numerous institutions and landmarks bearing his name, including Monash University, Monash Medical Centre and the city of Monash in Victoria. Monash's impact on Australian society extended beyond his lifetime as well, though. His principles of leadership, innovation and dedication to public service continue to inspire future generations. His military strategies are still studied in military academies worldwide, and his contributions to engineering and infrastructure development have left a lasting imprint on Australia's landscape. In the late 1980s, the Reserve Bank of Australia undertook a redesign of the nation's banknotes. The new designs aim to celebrate Australia's heritage and achievements by featuring prominent historical figures. The decision to feature John Monash on Australia's $100 note was a testament to his enduring legacy. The process of selecting individuals to be commemorated on currency involves extensive deliberation and public consultation. Monash's inclusion reflects his significant contribution to Australia in both military and civilian contexts. He was a natural choice for the 100 due to his remarkable life and contribution. The selection process involved input from historians, public officials, and the general public. Monash's name consistently emerged as a top candidate from all areas, reflecting the widespread recognition of his achievements. The RBA's decision to feature Monash on the highest denomination note underscores his status as one of Australia's greatest figures. John Monash's life and achievements have left a significant mark on Australian history. His innovative military strategies, visionary leadership, and dedication to public service earned him the honour of being featured on Australia's $100 note. Monash's legacy continues to inspire future generations, reflecting the enduring impact of his contributions to both military and civilian spheres. In celebrating Sir John Monash, we honour not only a great military commander and engineer, but also a visionary leader whose principles and values continue to inspire us today. Monash's legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of innovation, dedication, and public service in building a better future for everyone. But that'll conclude another video, guys. Thanks so much for listening to all of this if you're still here. These scripts take a lot longer to write or create than the 60-second shorts I usually post, so please consider rewarding that effort with $1 per month via my Patreon page or membership here on YouTube. I had a few cancellations in the last week or so, and I feel a bit bummed about it. So yeah, if you have the means, I'd really appreciate some cash. But anyway.
Was my video about John Monash. I find him really interesting. I hope you found that really interesting as well. As I said earlier in the video though, if you're interested in other people on other bits of currency in Australia, I'm going to have a video for every single banknote. There's 2 people on each banknote, other than the 5. The 5 has the Queen and Parliament House. But yeah, I'm going to have a video on every single person, and I hope you enjoy them. So hit subscribe, hit the like button, send this to a mate for me if you want. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. These guys give me money. I like money. Turning some of your money into mine would be dope, but don't feel like you have to. If you're still here, if you're still listening to me, you've probably seen 4 ads already. I'll see you when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks so much for watching.